Whoa. That's a big question.
That's huge.
Hello, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for doing this.
John, what is the idea of working with big and scary monsters in A Quiet Place and now adorable monsters in If?
I think it was a real blessing for my wife and kids that I was not going to hang out with scary monsters anymore and that I was actually going to hang out with big purple monsters instead. It's been an absolute blast working on this movie. It's also the most personal movie I have done and probably ever will do because I wrote this and made this movie for my kids. It was all about, I was always watching them go to this place that I couldn't follow them, this place that they got to imagine whether they were having a tea party or fighting dragons or whatever they were doing. It seemed like the most beautiful thing and they were having so much fun. And then during the pandemic, I saw that light sort of start to go out in them and they started letting the real world in and they started asking questions about whether or not they were going to be okay. And I said, this is the time to write this movie because they have to have a movie that'll tell them that even on their darker days, you can always go back to that happy place that exists for all of us. And when you grow up, you can still go back to that happy place. You're never too old to be a kid.
What is the biggest challenge of starring and directing a movie like that?
That's a great question. I mean, I think the hardest part of the hardest part about making a movie like this is using your imagination, believe it or not, because this one had to work with a lot of characters that weren't necessarily there. And so we had a couple people working with us. We had a couple actors on set that were standing in for her. But for the most part, we had giant stuffed animal toys that I would attack her with, and that was her acting partners. But how was it working with Ifs for you?
It was definitely different, I could say. But, I mean, yeah, it's nothing. I've never done anything like that before. But I'm really lucky that it wasn't just like poles and sticks and stuff that I had to have an emotional scene with. That would be really weird. But I think it had a lot to do with you being very dedicated to the movie. I think you went above and beyond to make us feel comfortable.
Thank you. I paid her a lot of money to say that.
Did I get it right?
Yes. Did I get it right?
So, for both of you, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Whoa. That's a big question.
That's huge.
I always say, what's one of my top 10 movies that I'm thinking about right now?
I have
instead
like
of
18.
one. Yeah. Weirdly, completely opposite from If. Emily and I, one of our favorite movies together, because we watched it together. Well, I had seen it before, but we started watching it together when we first started dating, was Jaws. A real romance movie for when you just start dating someone is watching a movie about a killer shark. And so we fell in love with that movie. And Jaws is kind of like an If, but more teeth and scarier.
Okay.
What was yours?
Not Jaws. Funnily enough, I don't like scary movies, but I did love Quiet Place.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I loved that. I don't know. That's hard. I love Tangled. That will always be like one of my favorite movies.
Tangled's great.
It's a classic. Home Alone 2.
Yes. More than Home Alone 1?
Yes,
Why?
absolutely.
New York?
New York.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
Interesting.
So, I mean, I have like 18,000.
18,000. That's a lot.
Precisely.
Yeah. Hello, Brazil. This is Cailey Fleming. I'm John. And we are really, really excited for you to see If, because it's going to teach you that you're never too old to still be a kid.